sta je met Serkan, lead mission designer bij Ivory Tower. Is that right? Lead mission designer?
I'll take that.
Yeah?
You can call me like chief or game director, or
But you are the lead mission designer.
I'm not. I'm lead mission designer.
So what can we expect from the missions in the crew? Because there are a lot of missions in the crew.
Yes.
I was looking at the map and there were like hundreds of missions.
There are lots of missions.
Yep.
There are lots and lots of missions. We have, to be clear, we have missions that you can play in up to 4 players cooperatively. Yep. So, unlike your typical driving game where 8 people are playing, let's say, and 1 guy wins and 7 guy loses and they all have to kind of deal with that failure.
Yeah.
In our game, we can get players playing together in races, and if 1 guy wins, everyone wins. It can be a race, it can be a mission where you're trying to take down an enemy, but as long as you guys play together and one of you succeeds, everyone gets the rewards for doing that. So those are our missions, and there's a large number of those all across the whole of the US. We also have our skill challenges. There's around 500 of these, and they're based again all around the country. Each one of those takes about 20 seconds, 30 seconds to complete. And it's really just a test for you and your friends with your skills driving particular vehicles. So one challenge might be getting to the top of a mountain. Now for some guys, they're going to use like a street car or a performance car. And maybe the mountain, there's a kind of winding road and they'll be driving around it as quickly as they can. Another guy will be using a raid car and he'll just drive straight up the mountain. He won't use roads, he'll be jumping, he'll be going over boulders and rocks. He'll be finding his own route because really that's the kind of key to our environment. It's set in the US, but you can drive anywhere at any time.
I have to ask this, is there an Area 51 mission in there?
There's lots of stuff that I probably shouldn't really give too much away about, but there's lots of areas that you will discover.
And is there an Area 51?
I can't confirm or deny Area 51. Well, I could probably tell you, but then they kill me, right? So I'm not sure if I can tell you.
You can.
Yeah, there'll be stuff there. If you go looking, you'll find something.
Okay, did you put a lot of Easter eggs in the game? Because it should be a great game for a lot of Easter eggs, right?
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of stuff to find. There's people will talk about the landmarks, and there's landmarks that people expect that are famous, but there's a huge number of them, and many of them, honestly, you probably have never heard of until you actually get in the game and play for yourself. We saw on Twitch and on YouTube, we had a couple of guys in the last closed beta.
Yeah.
They managed to find in the Midwest, there's this, I don't know how big it is exactly, but it's an absolutely huge statue of a cow. It's kind of in dairy country.
Cool.
And it sort of looks a bit weird at first because you're driving along and you think, is that what I think it is? And then, it's like a 20-story tall giant cow sitting in the middle there. But it's kind of, it's what you find when you're researching this country. I mean, we talk about the landmarks that everyone knows, but every state you just have this kind of weird and wonderful things to discover. So we've got lots of them. We have some other stuff that's kind of inspired, not so much by the location, but maybe more kind of movies, TV, and a few other secrets. So get looking, go out there and see if you can find them.
Today, I'm going to introduce you to the features you'll be able to get your hands on during our closed beta. Thanks for joining us.
You just talked about a beta. What kind of reaction did you get from the beta?
The closed beta reaction was great. We had 2 on PC. Yeah. Within the last month or so. We have another one starting within the next 10 days on PS4 and Xbox One.
It's closed or open?
It's closed, but registration's open now. But it will be limited access. But yeah, I mean the betas have been great because what we've seen is, and what we've been able to react to is kind of what players have been asking for, and the data that we've been able to get. Now, people talk about extracting data from the game. You can see where people have been, you can see what they've done. We've actually found what's been really useful, again, is watching live streams. Watching live streams, joining in games with players, just getting an understanding for what it is that people want. What we found is that people really appreciate freedom. Yeah. They appreciate being able to be given the keys to a really nice car and being told, go and do what you want. There is a story. If you don't want to do the story right now, it's okay. There's PvP. If you don't want to play other players right now, it's okay. You can go and do exactly what you want from the beginning.
Yeah,
so
there's a story mode, right? I almost forgot there's a story mode
There is a
because
story.
there's so much to do in the game.
Yeah, I mean, the story is just one side to it. You know, the story for us is a good opportunity to introduce the player to how the game works,
Yeah.
to all of the different modes in the game, the different regions, the different types of car you'll be driving. So the story serves that purpose. But also, you know, we know that there are people who like having story there as a kind of glue to give some structure to the game.
Yeah.
So if that's what you want, you know, if that's what you kind of miss, then you can tap into that. If you just want to compete from day one with your friends, you can kind of push the story to one side and just go and do your own thing. So.
Okay, cool. I have to ask it, but you're releasing near Drive Club and Forza Horizon 2,
Yes.
and you're a new IP.
Yes.
Aren't you afraid that gamers who don't know the crew already or don't know the crew are going for Forza Horizon or Drive Club?
Never be afraid. Never be afraid. No, it's an exciting time. Honestly, I mean, I've been working in this particular genre for many, many years.
Yeah.
I remember a few years ago, everyone was saying driving games, racing games are dead. Well, they're not dead. I mean, look, we've got how many being released this year? So
Yeah.
it's an exciting time. I think everyone's bringing their own perspective on what they want to do.
Because I only played it on E3 for like 5 minutes, the crew.
Yeah.
And I didn't know what to expect from the crew, and it's totally different from what I expected. It's not Forza or it's not Drive Club. It's really, like you say, it's an open world MMO.
Yeah, I mean, as someone who's worked in this genre for a while as well,
Yeah.
I tend to kind of like tense up when someone describes it as a racing game,
Yeah.
because it's like the last thing. It's almost the last thing it is as a racing game, and I think people who've been able to access the betas have kind of understood that. You know, they've gone in and they've realised that this is really a celebration about driving. This is a celebration about exploration, driving. You know, the feeling that you got when you know, maybe you got your first car, you got your first set of keys, and you realised that you actually had your independence. You could now go where you want, when you want. And I think the game really captures that. You know, it's the way
I think
that
as well.
you can just kind of create your own journey, create your own stories, and share them with the players and the people that you meet.
Great. Oh, thank you for your time, and good
Hey,
luck
thanks
with
for
the last weeks of development.
Yes, exciting time.
Yep.
But the end is in sight, and we'll be out there in November.
All right. So now we grab beers, right?
Yes.
Cool.
Yes, but don't drink and drive.
Thank you.
Not in the real world, anyway. All right, thanks.